All right. Well, thank you for all being on. I'm very excited here as we are getting close to the Christmas break to be able to share this with you. This is the first time that we have shared this message with anyone outside of our own lists here at Automated Advisor. So you are all getting the opportunity to see something that no one else in the industry has yet seen. We're calling this the Ultimate Advisor's Guide to Facebook Marketing. And I'm curious as we're jumping in started, any of you tried messing with Facebook, yes or no, either to market for lead generation or to maybe market workshops or other seminars that you may be running? Because what we're going to be sharing with you today is three specific case studies of how these advisors used Facebook to generate 386 leads and 91 seminar registrations in 60 days. And while that's exciting, here's the part I'm most excited about. They did this for 72% less than what they were seeing with direct mail. So, very excited to share this with you and get your feedback. Feel free to pop questions in the chat section as we go. And if we have time, I'll stop along the way and answer them. Otherwise, what we'll do is I'm going to move this out of your way. Otherwise, I will answer the majority at the end of the call. So, let's jump in here and get started. So, the goal of today's training, what I really want to communicate is first and foremost, I want to share with you real world results. So this is not just theory or concept or this is what you should be doing, but this is real world results of three Facebook marketing campaigns we've managed for advisors in the last 60 days. We're going to show you exactly how we produce the results. We're going to share with you best practices for launching and managing successful Facebook campaigns. Also going to take some time to make you aware of some of the traps that will literally kill your Facebook campaign. So those of you who said, yeah, I tried it, didn't have a lot of luck, I'm going to show you why. And then this part I really am excited about. We're going to actually show you the exact ads, the landing pages, and the offers that we used to produce these results. So I'm curious though, I thought it'd probably be helpful to start with why Facebook? As of everything that we could do, why are we paying attention or working with Facebook? So here's the reality. In any type of interruption marketing, which if you do, I'm curious, maybe you guys can pop in the chat section how you market now, whether it's radio or direct mail, centers of influence. Just curious how you guys go about marketing currently. But the reality is, all the marketing we do for the most part is typically what we call interruption marketing, meaning that we're dropping a message in front of somebody who otherwise probably isn't looking for it. So direct mail or dropping our message in the mailbox, radio, or interrupting the station they're listening to bring them our ads. So Facebook is no different, but in any type of interruption marketing, it's all about owning the eyeballs. So the higher engagement of the audience to a specific medium, the better your ads are going to perform because more people are actually going to see it. Okay, I'm getting some feedback here. Sorry, guys, that some of you are only seeing certain segments of the presentation or the page, which is interesting. So let me try to do this to help us out. If someone could please let me know if that's any better. Not sure why, maybe because it's in widescreen mode, you guys are only seeing some of the page, but let me know if that's any better. But here's what we found. 86% of boomers are researching products and services online. Probably not a shocker there. But what we've found in the last few years is Facebook has become the dominant networking site for those 55 and older. So what does that mean actually? Well, 91% of boomers are now on one or more social media sites. And while Facebook used to have 10.5% of boomers on the platform, they now have 80.4%. I actually saw a recent statistic that said it's actually 9 in 10, with this 15% of them spending as much as 11 hours on the platform at a time. Okay, guys, still the screen's still not complete. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's try one more. Let me try one more function here inside of GoToMeeting and see if this helps. Is that any better? Okay, praise the Lord. We finally got it figured out. Sorry about that, guys. So anyway, so when it comes to interruption marketing, again, we've got to go where the eyeballs are. And if you're targeting boomers at all, Facebook is where they are. In fact, if you looked, I get the question a lot of times, well, what about LinkedIn or Pinterest or what about Twitter? Well, LinkedIn's the next closest with 3 in 10 boomers on the site. So for me, I'm going to go where 82% are. I'm not going to diversify or dilute my marketing budget in places that my ideal prospects are not dialed in. So that's why we focus on Facebook. And we're traffic source agnostic at Automated Advisor. We really don't care. We don't work for Facebook. But what we do care about is results, and we care about getting the highest number of leads or seminar registrations for the lowest cost. And all roads right now lead to Facebook with everything that we've tested. So before we jump too deep, though, in the case studies, I thought it would probably be helpful to take a couple minutes and just explain how a Facebook campaign actually works to begin with, as many of you may be newer to the marketing side of Facebook. And a quick clarification also, what we are not talking about today is organic Facebook marketing, posting articles or pictures or quotes, hoping that someone in your market sees your brand enough and they'll call you. What we're talking about is direct response advertising, where any of you on the platform have seen in your news feed, I'm sure, sponsored ads that you can click on that take you to pages with various offers. So, what we do in Facebook is we start with target market selection. And we're going to talk about how all these work in detail in a minute. But once we've identified a certain segment of the market by age, income, asset level, zip code, right? We've carved out your little niche in your market. Then we're going to display ads to them, and again, these may be ads for free reports, for case studies, for seminars that you're running, with the goal of getting them to click that ad to then land on a landing page. And a landing page is a page we drive to get them to take a specific action. And the goal is to get them to convert. So the goal may be to register for the seminar or to opt in and give us their name and email and phone number in exchange for a case study. And we've all done this. We've all engaged. Many of you went to a landing page to register for this seminar or webinar rather today. And so from high to low, these are the four main steps that we're trying to accomplish. So to do that successfully, and this is important because I've certainly talked to advisors who have tried this and have not seen the results that they should. And it typically comes down to not managing one or more of these five critical elements of a successful campaign. The first is targeting, and we're going to talk more about that in a minute. But on Facebook, they have more targeting options than just about any traffic platform out there that you may advertise with. Second to that, though, you have to have a valuable offer, something that people actually want. Third, you need to have good ad design and copy so that the ad resonates and gets a lot of clicks. Fourth, you need a landing page or a lead generation page that is highly optimized for conversion, which we'll talk about more in a minute. And probably the most critical element of all of them, you have to optimize the campaign and split test different ads, different headlines, different landing pages. So I'm going to show you some of that went into these campaigns today to show you why this is so important. So let's start with targeting. Again, we want to go out in your market and carve out your specific niche to advertise to. We don't want to advertise to anybody and everybody. So Facebook gives us tons of options for sorting your audience by age, by income level, by asset level, by specific zip codes, just like you would with direct mail. And the point there is no, not everyone on Facebook sees your ads. So I get the question from advisors, well, what if people are on Facebook and they're 4 states away and they see my ads? Okay, well, that doesn't happen with targeting in place because we're telling Facebook these are the only people we want to see these ads. But they go beyond that and give us a number of different demographic and psychographic options to filter by. And one of the neatest things that they do is give you the ability to clone your ideal clients. So many of us have had managers and sales trainers in the past say, find out the commonalities among your best clients and then go find people just like them. And that sounds really great. The question has always been, how the heck do you do that? So Facebook actually does it for you with what's called a like audience. And a like audience would be if we were to upload an email list of, say, 150 of our clients, just their email addresses. What Facebook will do is they will say, okay, of these 150, 112 of them have Facebook profiles, and they go and scan those Facebook profiles to see what pages do they like, what kind of ads do they click on, what books do they read, what are all the commonalities among these people, and then they will generate an audience for you of 15 to 20,000 as an example and say, hey, these 15 to 20,000 look just like the 115 or 150 that you uploaded. You may want to consider marketing to these people. And that would make sense, right? That would be a highly targeted group of individuals that have a lot in common with your ideal clients. So that's a like audience. And so these are some of our targeting options on Facebook. Once we have our target audience kind of segmented out, then we need to consider ad design and copy. So I just have a sample ad here of one we ran, which you'll see again in the case study in a moment. But there's really three main components of a good Facebook ad. The first is the headline, which you see right below that image there, which in this case was the specific date and location of a seminar that we were promoting. At the top, you have what I call the teaser. This is a one sentence of copy that really just kind of summarizes what's the offer all about. In this case, it was Top Retirement Expert is helping Ohio residents enjoy a tax-free retirement. Reserve your seat today. And then beneath the image, beneath the headline, you have the body copy where you can go a little bit more in detail into the copy. Now, what I'll tell you about this is that probably the most important components of a good ad are the image itself and the headline beneath the image. And I'm convinced the other two components really could care less what's on there. It's the image and it's that headline that's really going to sell the click. That's where a lot of your time should be spent in focusing on optimizing your ads. And again, I'm going to give you examples of all of these campaigns and all of these elements that we ran in these case studies. The number three was your offer. So again, we've got to have an offer that provides real value. We can create a great target audience and a great ad, but if they click on it and the offer is not valuable or it's off target, we're not going to see them convert. So some couple offer examples or sample offers that you could run with. Again, the free guide or the free report is kind of a tried and true low commitment offer. So if you're looking to generate a high volume of leads for a low cost, I'll show you in one of the case studies in a moment how we did just that. That's a great offer. A case study also makes a great lead generation offer. A checklist, so a retirement ready checklist, an investment checklist, are you ready for 2017 checklist, right? Things like that are also good. And then, of course, we also drive direct to seminars and workshops. After you have your offer selected, landing page design and copy is the next most important component. So the page that your ad leads them to when they click on it, what I'll tell you is that there are 18 different elements of landing page optimization. And if you'd like a quick checklist of all 18 of them that you could lay right next to your seminar registration page or your white paper or lead generation page, you can get that at automatedadvisor.com. I think if you go into the blog section, you'll find those offers there on that page. You can download that as a little cheat sheet of sorts. But I put this in here, and I'm going through these pieces quickly because I want to get into the case studies, but I got to lay a foundation so you understand before you spend any money on Facebook marketing, because I don't want any emails saying, hey, everything you said didn't work. I want to make sure you're aware of all the pieces that need to be in place and be managed. So landing page design should be professionally designed, an up-to-date theme. The copy should be written in such a way that follows copy best practices with compelling headlines and what they're going to receive when they opt in for this or they convert. In landing page optimization, I'm going to also share with you in a minute how we split tested different pieces of the landing page to get a higher conversion rate. Now, when these things are in place, I said number 5 is most important, and that was optimization, split testing, and tracking your campaigns. This is really where the real money is made and the real results are realized. So with Facebook marketing, a couple metrics you need to know. One is how many prospects are my ads reaching? How many times are my ads being displayed? And then what is the number or percentage of clicks that it's getting? And that's going to give you what's called a click-through rate. And ideally, you want to see that you're getting at least a 1% click. If you're not, then your ad needs some work. If you are, then you should be able to determine how successful the campaign is based on the conversions on the registration or lead generation page. So the next thing you want to track is how many total leads did you generate, right? And that should be at least in the 10 to 15% range. So of every 100 people that click the ad, you should generate a minimum of 10 to 15 leads. And in many cases, we see them as high as converting pages as high as 38, 45%, which is with a lot of optimization, but that's kind of over time where we are able to get these campaigns. And that will tell you overall your cost per conversion. So I'll let the cat out of the bag here and just tell you, you should be seeing conversions to seminars at a cost of $40 to $60 a buying unit. You should see cost per lead being anywhere from $10, $15 to $20. If your current marketing is producing results higher than that at a higher cost, then you probably have some work to do and a lot of upside potential. So when it comes to split testing, what I mean by that is things like the image in the ad. So you don't want to run a campaign with just one ad. You want to, as you'll see in a minute, use several combinations of ads to see what's going to generate the response. You also could vary up and test different ad copies, so different headlines beneath the image. You could split test different offers. So maybe you have 3 or 4 case studies or reports you could use for lead generation, or maybe 3 or 4 types of workshops that you find pull better than another. Also, on the conversion page, using different design elements or different images on that page or color schemes could all help with conversion. And also landing page copy, so switching out headlines or benefit bullet statements can all make a difference as well. But split testing these, as you're going to see in just a minute, really does go a long way to drive results up and driving costs down. And I would say if you don't manage this element of a Facebook campaign, you will not see the results that you really are looking for. So with that, I thank you for hanging in there through that quick foundation of things that need to be in place so we can get into these case studies. But if I hadn't laid that foundation, I think you may too quickly miss that and think that just running with one ad will generate the results I'm about to share with you. So I hope you'll see in these 2 case studies 3 advisors, 2 that work with Creative Retirement, 1 at Matson and Caprill. You'll see where the split testing really showed up and paid off. So the first case study I want to share with you was for an advisory firm, Matson and Caprill. And the goal of the campaign was to drive as many attendees to their seminar as possible. So the challenges when we started this, like a lot of advisors, Dan Caprill, who owns the firm, he was using direct mail to try to fill his seminars. And what he found, as many of you have, and I personally have, is that direct mail was just continuing to decline. In fact, here were his numbers. He, on average, would send 10,000 pieces of mail, total cost of $5,600. On average, he was generating 25 buying units at a cost of $224 per seminar registration. Okay, and that's an important number, as you're going to see in just a minute. So for the Facebook campaign, what we did is we targeted a group of prospects in his zip code, age 50 to 65 years old, with an income of 150,000 plus, net worth of 250,000 plus, and the message of the campaign was tax planning for small business owners, high net worth, and high income earners. And the offer was for them to attend a tax planning seminar, no dinner, where attendees could learn more about tax strategies and how to position themselves for a tax-free retirement. So we ran, probably with every campaign, we may create 10 to 15 to sometimes 20 different ads, but I just want to pull the 4 that performed the best, and purposes of showing you not only the specific ads we ran, but the elements of split testing. So I want to just ask you, if you were to look at these 4 ads, which would you guess performed the best? We have on the left here an ad with his image on it, with his picture. It says, free tax-free retirement seminar. We've got one with a piggy bank here, one with a piggy bank that also says free tax-free retirement seminar, and then we have one with the golden nest egg that also says free tax-free retirement seminar. So everything else about these ads is the same. The headline copy, the bullet or the teaser copy, all that's the same. So if you were to guess, just take a quick second and just pick the one you think performed the best. All right, picture or nest egg? And Greg says nest egg. Okay, awesome. Well, here were the results. This ad with his image generated 23 seminar registrations. This one only generated 1. This one generated 7. This one generated 8. So if you guessed the one with his picture, you would be correct. But here's what I thought was interesting. Look at the 2 ads in the middle. Can you help me understand why the one with a little bit of text generated 7 times the registrations? See, what I think and what I hope you'll start to learn out of this training today is that until you test these things, you really don't have a clue which is going to be the top performer. And so what we do when we manage these campaigns is daily manage and actively manage which ads are working and which are not, so that we can turn off the ones that are not getting clicks and we can create new variations of the ones that are. So this one brought in 23 registrations. So this was the landing page that we drove to. It said, come discover how the wealthiest 1% of Americans eliminate taxes from their retirement income and keep more of what's yours, with the date and time, and then what you'll learn at this event. If you were to scroll down, you can see we had a number of different benefit bullet statements there, such as the 4-letter word that almost guarantees tax rates will soar in the near future, how rising tax rates can eat away at your retirement savings, including your Social Security benefits, et cetera, et cetera. And then we also, on this page, gave away a free copy of the top 10 tax myths sabotaging your retirement. So if someone hit this page and wasn't ready to register for a seminar, we at least had a secondary offer and chance at generating a lead. And then the bottom of the page, we had a little bio feature on Dan with a final call to action to register. So the results of the campaign, we ran a total budget of $2,700. The landing page converted at 7.3%, which means we generated 39 buying units for an average cost of $67.12 per buying unit. So to put that in perspective, oh yes, and the bonus stat, I almost forgot. At the time of this case study, which was about 30 days ago, Dan had also already closed one new client out of this campaign for a total of 1.1 million under management. So for those of you who say, but do they convert into clients? Yes, they do. So I want to show you, though, the side-by-side, because this is, in my opinion, the most exciting piece of everything I'm going to share with you. If you remember, before he was spending $5,600 on direct mail, generating 25 buying units at a cost of $224 per buying unit. After using Facebook, we cut the budget down. So we actually spent half of what he was spending at $2,700. We generated 39 buying units at a total cost of $67.12. So here's the key. When you can go from $224 a buying unit to an average cost of $67 a buying unit, if he were to go out and generate the same number of buying units using direct mail, he would have had to spend $8,736 to replicate what we did with just $2,700. So if you're anything like me, and I spent 6 figures a year on direct mail for several years running seminars, and at one point in my history, if any of you follow me or have watched any of my content on our site, you know I almost went out of the business as a result of spending so much on direct mail with so little results. This is a true game changer. $67.12 a buying unit versus $224. And if you were, those of you who run seminars, if you take just a quick minute and think, what do you spend on average on a mail campaign for how many buying units on average? And you can come up with your cost per buying unit. But when I do this math with advisors all over the country every week, without exception, the lowest I see is almost always around 2 to 2.25. I've seen as high as $1,100 a buying unit. The call I did right before this webinar kicked off, they were at $800 a buying unit. So to go from those kind of numbers to $67 a buying unit, hopefully you begin to see the power of why I say the industry is never going to be the same after we launch this on a large scale in 2017. So here were our summaries and takeaways through Facebook and a highly optimized registration page, because I don't want to leave out the fact that we did a lot of optimization work. We were able to increase attendance by 14 buying units while doing so for 71% less than he was spending on direct mail, and all without the risk of a large commitment to direct mail. Now, why does this work so well? Well, I want to point out the fact that, when he was sending 10,000 pieces of mail, just like many of you, Dan was sending the same exact mail piece with the same offer to all 10,000 people. So if we compare the leverage of Facebook to direct mail, the way it works on Facebook, we're able to in real time see which ads people are clicking on, which ones are driving conversions, which ones aren't, and we're able to switch up the ads in real time. That would be like here would be a stretch. I've never seen an advisor do this, but I think as our own CMOs, we should all fire ourselves for not doing this. What I told Dan is what he should have done is, if you're going to do direct mail and send 10,000 pieces, do 10 different mail pieces and send 1,000 of each to the same 10,000 people, so that you can at least see and split test and vary up the mail piece to see which is going to get the best result, right? That would be optimization. But what we're able to do on Facebook is, like, if we were able to tell the mailman, deliver these 10 different invitations to 1,000 people each, and tell us in real time as they open the mailbox and take action or throw it in the trash, which ones are getting thrown away, and then go back to the mailboxes with the wrong invitations, pull them out, and put in a better mail invitation instead. I mean, it gets crazy because we could never do that offline, right? But that's exactly what we're able to do online, which is why we're able to optimize these campaigns to the degree that we are and get the cost down so significantly. Now, let me give you another case study just to compare to. So, this is for creative retirement. And in creative retirement, we actually wanted to do two things. We ran two separate campaigns, which I'll get into here in a minute, one for a seminar and one just to generate leads for a free report. So, their goals was to use Social Security and RMD planning. So, remember, Dan used tax planning, these guys using Social Security, so it really doesn't matter the topic. But they wanted to use Social Security and RMD planning to attract prospects, but they, like Dan, were struggling with declining mail results. So here's where they were at before we started. They were sending on average 14,000 pieces of mail. And what they would do is they would send to a list of 7,000, but they would mail them twice. So a total of 14,000 mail pieces at a cost of $5,160, and on average would generate 19 buying units for a cost per buying unit of $271.57. Okay, so their goals, we ran again two campaigns simultaneously. The first was to generate what I call a top of funnel lead, which is we just offered a Social Security planning guide they could opt in for with name, email, and phone number. We also then, at the same time, were driving a new campaign direct to their workshops to get them to RSVP. So here was our demographics. We targeted people aged 55 to 64 who had an income of $100,000 or more, who had assets of $250,000 or more, and again, the message was Social Security Max and RMD planning. So campaign number one for the free report, our goal was to get as many people to opt in and give us their information and permission to follow up with them. And then because they were automated advisor clients, what they did is they used an automated marketing campaign to invite those people to register for the workshop as they came in. So campaign one, I'm going to show you the ads, the offers, and the landing pages that we used just to generate leads for a free planning guide. So here we have a clock with some money. We have a money bag just on a black background. We have another one, guide to maximize your benefits, and another one with a gold nest egg. So again, if you were to guess which of these ads produce the highest results, I'm just curious, I won't call any of you out, but which one do you guys and gals think probably performed the best? Okay, the clock or the nest egg, okay? Anybody else want to venture a guess? Or have a guess in your mind? Let's look at the results. Okay, somebody else said the clock. Okay, so this one here with the clock with the change generated 31 leads. This one generated 46 conversions. This one generated 83 leads. Look at that, double the leads because we added a little bit of text to the image. This one here, 226 leads. I mean, does it not blow your mind that with just changing the image, we can go from 31, 46, 83 to 226 conversions? I mean, that is obviously by far and away the clear winner. But my point here is, had we not tested these, we wouldn't have known that. If, like a lot of advisors, we just ran with one of these ads, we may have only generated 31 leads with the clock and assumed that Facebook doesn't work real well when all of the conversions were to be found in additional optimization. Just to go further with that idea of optimization, we ran those ads to one of these three different landing pages, which look relatively the same, with the exception that the image is different. We have an image of the report, we have one with the clock and the money, we have one with a wallet with some money sticking out of it, and here were the conversion percentage differences. This one on the left converted at 2.82% of the people who hit it, so every 100 people that hit this page, we generated 2.8 leads. This one generated 7.05. So just changing that image and putting the report where that cloud and arrow is on the one to the left, we basically almost more than about tripled the result. But this one here even performed better still at 7.13%. So we're split testing not only the ads, but we're split testing the landing pages also. So the total results, we ran this over 60 days, and their initiative is they really wanted to generate a high number of leads quickly because they wanted to then use the automated system to nurture those leads with weekly content and to invite them to the seminar. So they'd spent a total of $6,000 over 60 days. They generated 386 total leads for an average cost of $15.46 a lead. Now, any of you who are running lead generation campaigns, whether you're on the radio or you're doing direct mail or however, you got print advertising that you're doing, again, just take your total budget that you're spending on that, divided by the total number of leads to get your cost per lead. I talked with an advisor a couple of weeks ago that was running radio at a cost of $12,000 a month. And he said, so far I've generated 50 leads. And I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think that was about $275 a lead. And I said, you are a far cry from $15 a lead. I said, you cannot afford to continue running radio. I don't care what your IMO tells you. That is an insane amount of waste to spend on your marketing. You can go to Facebook and generate the same leads for a fraction of the cost. And that's exactly what we did with these guys. Now, overall, again, just kind of as a summary, something to point out here is, again, because they have that automated campaign in place, they also converted, of those 386 leads, I want to say they converted 12 buying units immediately to register for the seminar, which cost them nothing because they generated leads at a lower cost at a higher volume. So just a difference in strategy. But we also ran the second campaign, which the goal was there to drive directly to the workshop and generate as many workshop registrations as possible. So I'm going to show you the ads, landing pages, and offers we used for this one. So these are the ads we ran. We have one with a red piggy bank. It says free retirement workshop and dinner. We have one with the advisor's picture kind of to the left with the city behind him. We have one with the red money bag that says free retirement workshop. And we have one with his picture off to the right with a different image of the city behind him. So let's go back and let's take a poll. Which one do you guys and gals think performed the best? And those of you who are paying attention may remember back to the first campaign where we looked at for Mattson and Caprill, where the one with his face on it significantly outperformed the rest. So guesses here, we've got Moneybag or the one with his face on the right. Anybody else want to venture a guess here? All right, Moneybag with free retirement workshop. Another one saying with the face. All right, well, let's look at the results. Which ad actually performed the best? This one on the left generated 18 seminar registrations. This one, only 3. This one, 22 registrations. And the other one with his face on it, only 9. So here's the key takeaway, or one of the key takeaways here. Isn't it interesting that the one that didn't perform for the other advisor, where it was the one with his face on it, far outperformed the others. In this case, the one with his face on it didn't outperform the others. So if you were to make that assumption that having the face or your face on your ads are always the best answer, in this case, it's not. In fact, what I'll tell you is I initially, when we began working on this project 2 years ago, had a vision that we would find this combination to the safe, so to speak, for every topic advisors may want to generate leads around in every market and be able to turn those ad sets on across the country. What we found is you could take the exact same ad that Mattson and Caprill ran. In fact, we had an advisor do this. Took Dan's exact ads with Dan's picture and everything, pretended like they were Dan, and ran the exact same ads. There were no difference, and the ad completely bombed. So what we found, which is frustrating, but it's just part of the process, is every ad campaign has to be developed, launched, and optimized from scratch for each individual advisor, for each individual market. There's just no way around that. So I wish I could give you the key to the safe and say, here it is, run with it. But you have to do the optimization to really know. But here's another thing I took away from this one isn't it interesting that the one with his face on the right generated 3 times the registrations as to his face on the left? I mean, what's the difference really? At the end of the day, who can help me understand the real difference in those? But who knows why we interact with the ads we interact with, right? That was the key takeaway there. So here was the landing page that we then, when they clicked, that they landed on. It said, considering Social Security at 62, discover what Ohio residents need to know to maximize their Social Security benefits, which is a nice kind of specific message call out to a specific audience. What you'll learn at this event. The truth about the future solvency of Social Security and how to get every dollar you're entitled to, or how the new Social Security law recently passed will affect your claiming options, et cetera, et cetera. Join us for a free dinner and education. And then a final kind of closing bio on Ron with a last call to action to get every dollar that they're entitled to, RSVP today. So let's look at the results. Again, the offer was the Social Security workshop in this case. Total campaign budget, we spent $4,000. We generated 52 buying units at an average cost per lead or cost per buying unit of $71.15. So if we compare that with what they were doing before, They spent on average $5,160 to get 19 buying units. So their cost before was $271 a buying unit. Here, as we just said, for a budget of $4,000, so $1,160 less we put back in their pocket. We got 52 buying units, not 19, and an average cost of $71.15. So that's really the story. I mean, again, to replicate the results we produced on Facebook with direct mail, they would have had to spend $14,121 to generate the same number of buying units using direct mail. I mean, that's shocking. I just did this. Whoops, you guys are saying you lost audio. Hello, are you there? Can you guys hear me now? Okay, we're back. Not sure what's up with GoTo. It's trying to take Christmas early. But that's really the shocking stat to me is when you really understand the percentage increase and percentage of costs that we're cutting, that's where the real story kind of comes out. So for them, we generated an additional 33 buying units, and we did it for 73.8% less than direct mail, all without the risk of a large commitment to a direct mail spend. And by running that free guide campaign alongside of it, we generated 386 leads that we're now able to nurture every week, and every month they run a workshop, harvest additional attendees from that list. So the question I always get is, okay, this is awesome. How can I leverage Facebook in my practice? How do I actually get started doing this? So a couple of ways that we help advisors with this. You guys can obviously run with this and you can do this on your own. But what we found is as we got into this, the reason we decided to add this as a service offering of automated advisors because it is so hairy and there are so many pieces to test and maximize registrations or maximize leads by split testing various elements. Most of the clients that we were encouraging to use Facebook came back and said, man, I don't have time for that. In fact, I used to use the analogy that the way we daily manage Facebook campaigns would be like daily managing an options portfolio, where you would go in and see what's moving in which direction and buy or sell different options based on that. I mean, the ultimate of day trading, right? Imagine that example. Well, we do the same thing with the Facebook ads. What we do is we daily optimize the campaign. So every day, and typically it's about a 3-week campaign run time for a workshop, we will daily watch those ads, and the ads that aren't getting clicks, we can them. So you're not spending any of your budget on ads that don't perform. And the ads that are working, we'll split test different variations of those to ensure that you're getting the best result and we're pushing the traffic to the ads that are working. But we manage that daily. So it is certainly not a little amount of work, but if you want to get the results we're getting, that's what it actually takes. So another thing we wanted to do is we wanted to make this program that we call Social Leads a territory exclusive program, because at Automated Advisor, our goal is not to work with thousands of advisors. We want to work with 150 to 200 advisors on a very close level, very actively helping them manage their marketing and managing how they build their practices. It would be like the good old days 20 years ago if the direct mail companies had said, you know what, if you're doing mail with us, you're the only advisor we're going to mail for your seminars in your zip code. I mean, how much better would that have been? Now, I know the direct mail company didn't have margins to do that, but that's our approach. So if you would like our help doing this, I want to just kind of lay out to you how our process works so that you know what's involved. So first step is you have to see if your territory is available. If it's not, I sincerely hope you will not send me a hate email, and I hope that you will take what we've learned today and you will go implement it, because you can generate these results, and it is changing the way our industry markets. So I'm going to tell you how to do that here in just a second. If your territory is available, you can temporarily lock down your territory by scheduling a strategy call. We're not going to ask for any money from you to temporarily hold your territory, because we want to make sure that we're a good fit for each other. We want to understand the types of leads you want to generate. We want to understand the market that you're in. We want to understand the types of workshops you want to run and what your current marketing campaigns and budgets look like, so that we can really assess the opportunity for you here. Step 3, we'll then, based on that call, analyze your market. We'll define your campaign goals, and we'll determine together if we're a good fit to work together. If we are a good fit to work together, here's what we do, and here's our process. I can get to the next slide. First is target market selection. We will work with you to identify who it is that you want to advertise to. So we'll nail down all of the demographic and psychographic targets that you want to reach. We will help you with the message and your offer selection. We will personally create all of the ads and the landing pages so that you know they're optimized and they're being written and the copy is right and the images and themes are correct. We'll take the load off and do all of that for you. We'll also write the copy for your ads and landing pages. Then we'll deploy the campaign, and throughout that campaign, while it's running, we'll daily manage and optimize the campaign for you. That's where you really see the results come on strong. We report weekly on the results, so you know exactly how many leads or attendees or registrations we're generating and at what cost. And just to give you an idea too of launch times, typically to launch a lead generation campaign like we did for Creative Retirement, where we drove to a free report or free guide, it takes about 14 days to get that up and running. For a seminar campaign, it also takes about 14 days, but then you need a full 3 weeks to let that campaign run to really maximize the number of attendees. So just so you have that in your mind as you're maybe planning for first of the year workshops right now, advisors who are working with us on this, we're targeting mid-February to make sure we have enough time. So if you're interested in at least finding out if your territory is available and you're interested in having a call where we'll determine together how good the opportunity is in your specific market, where we'll look at your topic, we'll look at your specific targeting options in your market, look at the size of the audience, and we'll let you know here's what we think we can generate the leads for, here's what we think we can generate seminar attendees for, give you a cost and a range. We'll look with you at what you're currently doing from a marketing perspective, both ad spend as well as results, and help you break down your cost per lead or your cost per buying unit and determine together if we think we can add value to what you're doing. To do that, you want to go to automatedadvisor.com/social leads. On that page, there are many different buttons saying check your territory. When you click that button, it'll take you to a form where you'll put in your details and you'll put in your primary zip code. After you put that in and hit submit, you're going to then go to a page where the system will check and run a system check and tell you if your territory is available or not. If it's available, you'll then be prompted to schedule the strategy session. Your territory will not be held for you until you schedule that strategy session. That's the only way we know how to link out who's checking territories and who we're supposed to be holding it for. So steps today after this webinar, and then we're going to dive in and answer some questions. Go to automatedadvisor.com/social leads, check your territory. If it's available and you want to temporarily hold it until our 15-minute strategy session, go ahead and schedule the first available opportunity. You'll have access to my calendar. You'll do this call with me and me only. I'm the only one who does these calls with our prospective clients. We'll have that call together, and then we'll decide if this is something that we want to work together on. So with that, while you guys are heading over there and checking territories, I want to take some quick questions. So I don't actually have any in the chat section yet. So if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and pop those in there now, and we can begin to answer those with the time that we have left. Does anybody have any questions, or did I do that good of a job that I answered them all already? Okay, so we got first question in here. How would this work for national campaigns? Great question. So for a national campaign, what we would do is we would pick the different targets across the country. So I don't think I could ever think of a time we just turn an ad on blanket across the country, but we probably want to get very specific about different cities and different target markets across the country. But we certainly have advisors that run campaigns in multiple states. And so what we would do is just define those target demographics, those target markets across the country, and we can absolutely run and manage campaigns regionally or across the country in multiple states. If that answers your question. And by the way, if any of you have follow-up questions, feel free to ask those as well. Okay, next question. What is the cost range for what you do? So the cost range for what we do depends upon the frequency of ads that we're running, the types of campaigns, whether they're for seminars or for top-of-funnel lead generation. But and the type of campaign, the topic. So it's tax planning, it's Social Security. How much optimization work are we going to have to do to get it dialed in? That's why we do the free strategy session call, because we need to understand that so that we can tell you what our fee would be to do it all for you. And if you got somebody like Liz here who wants to run national campaigns, that's going to affect that. Our cost for the service also. So hopefully that kind of answers the question, even though I know it doesn't give you the exact blanket answer. But I will be able to give you that answer once we have a call and I know exactly what we're marketing, what type of campaign, and to how big of an audience. All right. Any other questions? While you guys may be typing in a few more, let me leave you with this stat again. If you currently analyze your lead generation campaigns, so if you're doing anything to generate leads or you're buying leads and it's not at $15 to $25 a lead, you are paying too much. If you are running seminars and your seminar registrations or buying units are coming in at more than $40 to $60 a registration, you're paying too much. And if that's you, you should absolutely be looking at this. If you're already in that range, you're probably good. But as new as this is, almost every advisor, and it could be the nature of the advisors who come to us for help, but almost every time I run an analysis for a prospective client of ours, the numbers are much, much higher. And literally, I know large numbers of you are bleeding out revenue and profit from your practices and inefficient marketing every year. So let's stop that in 2017. So I don't see any other questions, guys. So if we don't have any others, I'll let all of you go. Wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Look forward to talking with all of you when we get back. And last question just popped in. How large is the territory? Territory is going to be based on your primary zip code and dependent somewhat among the density of that zip code and the size of the target audience. So we've got ideals for our audience size that we want to be able to target. And so we'll map out a radius around the primary zip code that you'll put in when you're checking if your zip code is available or not. And we're typically running a radius around the primary. So in this case, if you have 5 or 6, like you say here, we're probably going to pick the primary and run a radius around that, and that would be the territory. But what we'll do on Facebook is we'll find out in that primary zip code how far out do we have to go to reach our ideal audience size. So good question. All right, I'll let you all go. Any other questions, keep them coming, and we'll follow up via email or we'll answer them on our call. Head over to automatedadvisor.com/social leads. Check your territory. Again, if it is available and you want to temporarily lock it down, you need to schedule that free strategy session to temporarily secure your territory. So, and again, if they're not open, I hope that you still found value in today's call. And if there's anything we can do at Automated Advisor to help you in 2017, we look forward to doing so. So thank you all. Have a great holiday season, and we'll talk to you.